أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. We are not going to study this verse. We will start from here and not from another verse. But I am hiding the verse that we are going to start today. Why are you running away? Comfortable. But when you sit far away, I feel that I have to shout and you see my voice. Yeah, I won't be able to shout as much as I used to today, inshallah. You can hear me. If you don't, come close. Inshallah. So we know that religion has two main aspects. One, educates the person mostly internally, trains or gives them training to the person internally. It means training the emotions, senses, how to think, how to relate the things in the world to himself, and the most important, of course, how to locate the person himself in the universe. So, as we understand from the teachings of the Qur'an, that house, home in this world is the universe. Of course, we think that I live here and my home is here, but we understand that from the point of view of existence, our home is this universe. That's our house. So, where I stand in this universe is the most important question. Have you ever thought yourself, where am I? Where is my? We shouldn't really use already accepted but not thought over language, saying that of course we belong to God or something. Have you ever thought yourself, who am I? Where am I? So this personal location in the existence of the whole universe, in this existence, this type of existence, is very important, and we have to work on it. So my Creator guides me how to use my abilities. From one aspect, some people are very sensitive about it, as if we are equating the human quality to what the revelation teaches, God's revelation teaches, what the prophets teach, as if we are equating them, and they get sensitive about this. No, the Quran is superior to everything. Yes, as far as the source of training is concerned, from my own Creator, I need guidance like I need a teacher in this world. If you want to learn something, you need a teacher, you need a master. This is quite normal. But at the same time, our master, teacher, is the one who created me, is the one who knows my abilities, and he speaks to me in order to guide me how to use my abilities. So his speech, by definition, be careful here, should be within the capacity of my abilities, should be within the capacity, within the limitations of my human capacities, given by him again. So don't be sensitive. They say that, are you equating that human capacities and the Quran are the same? No. My master, for example, the engineer of this computer, this laptop here. So if he wants to use the laptop that he in himself has designed, how does he treat the laptop? Does he treat the laptop, he or she, treat the laptop more than what its capacity is? Do you understand the example? Mm. Yeah? No. He will use it within the capacity that the laptop has, and maybe given by the engineer himself herself. But it doesn't mean that the engineer's understanding of computer or programmer is limited to the capacity of the laptop. Right? People are so sensitive about it. You know, they see that the Qur'an is reduced to every human being is equal to the Qur'an speech, or the speech in the Qur'an anyway. So God's speech is nothing more than what human beings. They are equal. You are making your mind equal to God's mind, which is impossible. This speech is nonsense, because we are not really saying that God's mind or my mind, because we don't make this comparison. There's no similarity. One of them is created, the other one is the creator. But if the laptop is a conscious being, or was a conscious being itself, like human beings, is it going to expect the engineer to treat the laptop more than its capacity? No, right? Do you understand? So as far as the laptop is concerned, the laptop will say, my engineer is a wise person, so he or she wouldn't treat me more than what my capacity is. You understand? So the laptop can say that the engineer speaks to me, it mistreats me only within my capacity. Not, he can not know more than this or larger than, no. So I am created by the one who created the universe. I'm not challenging his capacity. I'm not questioning his capacity at all. What I am doing here, when he speaks to me, by definition, I understand that he wouldn't speak to me beyond my capacity. Did you get it? That's very important. You are here. You have no right to speak. You have been absent for months, man. Okay, please go ahead.
No, I missed this. I'm sorry. Does that framework give us the flexibility to have different degrees of capacity within the creation? So you reading it have a different capacity than I, than Danish, than other people. I understand what you're saying is that the reader, the created, is not at the same level as the creator. Yeah. But you're not implying that all of the created are equal. There are rooms for different degrees of capacity.
Yeah.
On the creation.
So, of course, but the speech of the creator depends on what we understand from his speech, revelation, etc. But now let's talk about the Quran, because that's what my point today. I was going to stress on that point. Quran is the speech to all mankind. If the speaker is wise enough, at least as far as I'm concerned, if he speaks to human beings, what I will expect as far as I am concerned, he is my maker, he is my creator, so he will speak to me within my capacity. And you also will say, he is my maker. And another person, a farmer, for example, even didn't know, illiterate farmer, how to read and write even, he will say, he will speak to me according to my capacity. Because the speech is one, addressees are numerous, yeah, different. So expect the speaker to know this as well. That is why when you study the Quran, oh God, you know all the commentators on the Quran, everybody comes up with another perspective. Yeah. Why? According to their capacity, they benefit from them, from the same source. So it is quite normal to expect that the creator is expected to know that the addressees, those people who are reading the Quran, should have various levels of understanding. So they will get from it as much as they can. Another subject that I would like to emphasize on and share with you, wherever you are, whoever you are, at which level you are, just sit in front of your creator, listen to him, bear in mind that whatever the level your understanding capacity is, he speaks to you, right? I'll give you one, but it may be new for you. So example, the prophet Moses had one staff, right? So when the tribes, as it is explained in the Quran as well as in Torah, in the Torah Pentateuch. So with the tribes, the number of the tribes were 12, right? Depends on, they say 12, but doesn't matter. 11, and Joseph's tribe was 2, and then Levi's were, there are lots of arguments there. Doesn't matter, it's a historical argument. So he hit the rock with a prophetic, miraculous rock. What happened?
12 springs.
Say it again, one person speak so that the recording will be clear.
12 springs came out?
Now, one strike, 12 springs came out. Each tribe got his own spring. Do you understand? That is prophetic vision. Presenting the message to every tribe according to their capacity. So from there we understand that it is not important. Your capacity is not important. What is important?
It's how you use your capacity.
Your openness, your feeling the need for water. Because the tribes, children of Israel in general, or Jacob's name is Israel. So by the way, Israel means the literal meaning of Israel means
struggling with God.
Sorry?
Struggling with
No, literal meaning. Literal meaning is the soldier of God. Yeah, jihadist. It's something contemporary politics. So who is jihadist? Israel. No, I don't like that. I don't like this comment, but there are some things interesting. So 12 of the children of Israel asked Moses to provide them water. Water has many meanings. You know, the source of life, representative of mercy, and lots of meanings. So, but of course, water is water as well. You know, as far as my body and stomach is concerned, it is really water, liquid. As far as mind is concerned, yeah, it is really source of intelligence, methodology, logic, understanding, guidance for my mind, water, because it needs that one. So as far as my emotions are concerned, water is mercy. So water means everything in the Quran. When you read the Quran, where always water comes from up, yeah, from sky. It means our needs are met by a source which is above us, right? So one strike with a prophetic strike, with a message of the prophet, was enough for 12 of them. So every message has endless layers of understanding. So your capacity is not important. What is important? Your search for truth is important. Your thirst for truth is important. Your endeavor is important. Your pursuit is important. For example, if a person is, let's say child, but doesn't have to be a child, but let's say child is a student in primary school, goes to school in time, listens to the teacher, does his or her assignments, passes the class. Is he successful with the language of the Quran? One of the muflihun. Yeah, it means those who are successful. Is he successful or not? Passed the class. Did his job. What do you think? He's not successful because he's not a professor in.
He's successful.
Sorry?
Successful.
He's successful. Yeah. Right? So another person says, well, I know of all the subject, whatever the subject is, let's say mathematics. Well, I know all mathematics, studied not only first year, second year, all primary school, secondary school, or senior high school, everything. Yeah, I am a college student. And doesn't go to class because he knows, or because primary school student was successful. Right? But he doesn't go to class, he doesn't listen to his teacher at the college, and he doesn't do his assignment, and is he successful at the end? So what is the sign of or criteria of success? Capacity of your knowledge, or what?
Effort.
Your effort at your level. So if someone says, I don't understand anything from Quran, I don't know Arabic, okay. Are you struggling? Are you making effort to understand at your level? That is counted. Forget about the rest. Forget about the rest. But I don't know much. None of your business. Are you trying your best? Are you trying most of your capacity? Are you? That's important. So, let's use an historical example as the Quran uses. Which one of the tribes of Beni Israel was more successful? The better understanding one? Levi's tribe, you know that Levi's tribe were the tribes, all the rabbis or those people who take care of temple, carry the Torah rolls, Are they called rows?
Strolls.
Strolls,
Strolls.
Torah strolls. They are responsible for it, and they get into the holiest of the holy, holy place once a year. Only one person is allowed to get. This is from Levite tribe. Who said that Levite tribe is higher than the other tribes? No one. That's the profession. So, do you think the scholars better than the students? No, who does the job best at his level. So we have to be ready to expose ourselves to the teachings of God and get as much as we can. We have to be consistent within our level. Don't say, I have learned mathematics in the example. At the college level, I don't have to study more. That's enough for me. No. We have to go further. You have to go further. If you don't, you are not doing your job. So let's come back to the subject. So where we are now in this world, how do we locate ourselves personally within this universe? That is where God speaks to you. You have to be personally in this position. You have to use your human qualities in order to achieve this purpose, this objective, etc. It gives you guidance. Another way of speaking God, another purpose in the speech of God, to locate you an identity. For example, who are you? Not only personally now. Yeah. Not only personally, which kind of, for example, life structure you are following. In this sense, of course, everybody says, my community is the best, right? So what do you think, how Quran describes this community life? It means, for example, claiming that you belong to what? What religion do you belong to? What religious group do you belong to? What? You have to have an identity, but in which sense? It is. It may be an, if you like, sociological identity, or ethnic identity, political identity, or if you are Marxist, class identity. Oh, they don't have to be a Marxist, and I use a lot of class terminology anyway. So identity, how do you identify yourself with? As far as the Quran is concerned, how do you think the Quran will offer you, your God will offer you a kind of identity, social identity? Any idea? Yeah. As believers. Yeah. Okay. More? I will go on this. Work on it. A good start, by the way. I think you will get the job. So, anyway, any more?
What was the question again?
Which kind of, if you like, social identity that God will offer you? You expect from God that God will tell. Of course, the first category was your personal, if you like, education, if you like, purification, whatever, that is different. We say social identity. For if you are familiar with the language of the Quran, right, if you are so familiar with the language of the Quran, Quran calls many people for one thing. All of them, actually. What is it? Any idea? That believers, sorry?
It calls them to believe in God.
Yeah. Correct. Risale said the same. Yeah, like but believing God, that's correct. That's what I will work on it. I said, to yeah, but social identity. Yeah,
Servant.
sorry,
Servant.
servant. Yeah, yeah. Don't be. You know, if you get the right answer, you are another good one. If you get the wrong answer, you are a good one because you are helping us to learn the truth. Yeah. So don't worry to make a mistake. Really, dare make a mistake.
Um, Proponents of justice.
Sorry?
Proponents of justice.
Proponents of justice. I mean, is it that, are you saying that, yeah, but that's correct, but you are going to identify yourself within a society which is, which consists of the people gathered around justice.
Yeah.
That's what
Calling
you're
for what's good.
sorry?
Calling for what's good.
Yeah.
Society of questioners, questioning, questioning their existence. People who don't take just things for granted and just are trying to understand their. Trying to
Yeah,
understand.
this is an important element for a human being to be. It means to question. Yeah. So you should be a part of the people. You should identify yourself with a group of people who question. That's your suggestion. So these are all correct. Justice is an important point. Believers are an important point. And you said, just sorry.
Servant.
Now, servants, it means in Arabic language, in the Quran, ibad. Yeah. But now, for example, I can ask you, I can remind you for those people who are familiar with وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ, which means bow down with those people who bow down. Make your community with them. Of course, bow down before your creator. Yeah, but I'm not giving the answer there. For example, this is just, yep.
I was going to say after submission, submit, or what is Islam? What's the meaning of Islam? To surrender.
Submission,
To be an act of surrender
surrendering.
to God.
Yeah. Now, thank you for everybody, but not very much thank you because you've got the right answer. So it's not important. So those people who tried but made a mistake, you know how do we grow? We start as we are baby, we want to walk. If you never try to walk, because of the fear of falling and hurting yourself, you will never learn. So that's why I really attach a lot of importance to making mistakes. We learn by mistakes, usually, right? Just acknowledge that this is a mistake. That's important. So if you read the Quran, there are multitude of verses saying that they asked for forgiveness for their mistakes, they are forgiven. There are many. I can bring you 100. Real. Not maybe more than 100. They asked for forgiveness. They acknowledged their mistake. God forgives them. And guarantees, innahu ghafurur rahim. Definitely, he is really much forgiving, much or affectionate, whatever you call them, rahim. Lots of translations, many translations. So, thank you. Now, believers and submission. Look, believer is a title, right? But it is not a title of a community. But more practical, we will see now, inshallah, what the Prophet Abraham represents. So I am very happy, but at the same time, you might have this concept in your mind, but afraid of saying that Muslims. Yeah. So in this class, people are a little bit sensitive about it. You know, say that if I say Muslims, this old guy will say, "What do you mean?" So, but we should understand all the terminology used in the Quran. This Muslim, or Yeslim, in different forms of the word, submission, surrendering of this word. That means that if someone doesn't believe, doesn't submit. But if someone believes, may not submit. Do you understand the difference? Belief is necessary, but practical side is submission. Let's read the verse now, inshallah. Okay? Somebody? Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين.
Yeah. So Abraham is the first prophet is Adam, but we have no reference to it from Adam's history in the Quran or in the Old Testament that teaching me how to not control my life. What do you do with your life? Manage with your life. But we have a lot of information through Abraham and then Moses in the Quran that helps me to understand how to manage my life. So one of them is this, and the text explicitly says, let's say in English, let's read the English part for the recording as well. Yeah.
Abraham was neither a Jew nor a Christian, but was one who turned away from all that is false, having surrendered himself unto God, and he was not of those who ascribe divinity to aught beside him.
Yeah. So, do you understand that the Quran, when Quran speaks to you, he speaks to you, to human beings at two levels. For example, there are many, quite a number of verses, not many though, quite a number of verses which says, bow down with those people who bow down. Yeah, bow before God, the psalms. But there is no verse in the Quran which says prostrate with those people who prostrate. Have you thought about it? وَاسْجُدُوا مَعَ السَّاجِدِينَ. There's no such word. But وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِينَ, yeah. So prostration is very personal. That's you and your God. There. You get closest possible to God by humiliating yourself in the most possible way. Putting your honor down on earth, where your feet are, sorry. Do you understand prostration? The meaning of prostration is so powerful. as much as possible, you humiliate yourself only before God. That's personal. That's why there is no communal activity described in the Quran when it comes to prostration. But when it comes to bowing down before God, Quran says, make a community bowing down before God. Yeah, together. It means really make it explicitly at a social level what your identity is. I bow down before God only. And at a societal level, when it comes to personal level, you prostrate and you experience your own feelings there in prostration. I would say, unfortunately, but at the same time, I don't want to accuse anybody, any trend in Muslim community. When we talk about prostration, we talk about rules. You have to do this, you have to put your hands towards faith or directed to Kaaba. And you have to say 3 times certain phrases, or you can even say more. It's much better. You know, the rules. But the training is needed. What am I supposed to do there? You might have heard this expression. When you are in prostration, you are closest to God. But how? How do I do that? And how do I experience it? That needs explanation or, again, training. We have to talk a lot about the nature of prostration, actually. It is beautiful if we are more enlightened about it, more knowledgeable about it, if we are more aware what it means really, what I am doing now as I prostrate. If you are conscious of it, it becomes very influential in your personal life.
Okay, so there's a difference between prostrating, that's more like a personal level where you realize who you are as a being. I understand that part, but I don't understand the difference in between prostration, which is personal, versus bowing down, which is like a communal activity.
Because bowing down is a more explicit in the everybody knows, everybody sees. You can do every time, but you cannot prostrate anytime you want to. You have a special place. Bowing down means here, as far as this verse is concerned, that we are studying here under our now the discussion. Muslim Hanifan Musliman. So I can read it. Yeah, Hanifan Musliman. It's Hanifan Musliman is not only personal. Of course, it is beyond personal. It's not a side. It's not different from personal activity. But, for example, what are you going to submit yourself to in your life? How are you going to really practically live in the community life? Hanifan Muslim, which means here is explained, surrendered himself unto God, and as the sister said, yeah, this one, who turned away from all that is false. Hanif is turned away all from this that is false. It means never bow down, never lean before anything, but only for God in your societal life. Do you get it? At your societal level. It means in the society, you shouldn't really bow down before anybody. before anything, not only person. Then be with those people who bow down only before God at the society level, and you will practice your personal prostration. That is your personal feelings, personal practice. So how do you feel when you are prostrating? You don't see anybody around you, only yourself, expressing yourself, saying that, look, I understood I am nothing on my own. I have no claim whatsoever. But this is a personal relationship with God, if you like. When it comes to society level, it is more, when it comes to bowing down, it's more in your status or in your position in the society, openly declaring. So neither Judaism nor Christianity nor any title is important for you. What is important for us? Turning away from all that is false, not bowing down before anything. Of course, not necessarily that you have to go to the mayor and bow down before him. It doesn't mean that. So your social status, your financial capacity, your lineage, whatever. So you shouldn't really attach any importance to any of these things. But you have to only turn your face, if you like, to God, to the Creator, and be with the people who turn to God. That's why belief and common ground for believing God is important, and submitting yourself to God alone, surrendering yourself unto God alone is also important in your social life. In this sense, we understand from this verse that all these groups under different names, Christianity, Judaism, Muslim, of course with the uppercase M, Muslim, not the meaning that you have to submit to, is not important. Uppercase M. That's why the Quran explicitly says he wasn't a Jew, he wasn't a Christian, he was just surrendering himself unto God alone. So that is the social identity we learn from Abraham. Surrendering yourself unto God alone. And the other, of course, how can you do this? Not ascribing divinity to anything besides God. You see, do you understand that description doesn't give you a social construction? Gives you, an explicit way of life, expressing yourself into the society, but not under the banner of any social name. Do we get the difference? Do we get the difference? Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it's very hard not to think of Muslim here as being the capital M when it's explicitly saying he was not a Jew or a Christian with a capital J and a capital C. So it's just, how do you...
It means not, we call it religious identity. Do you get it? Religious identity. So from this verse, we understand that religious identities are not important. But the actions are important. What are they? Hanif. What is Hanif? who are called Hanif. So those people turn away from all that is wrong. Hanif. And Hanifan Musliman. Who are those Muslims? Not the political identity Muslim, but surrenders themselves unto God alone. And those people also have, of course, this criterion or this quality, never ascribe any divinity to anything other than the creator of the universe. Right? We have to stop after getting this question. And then we will pray together, inshallah.
How is this different from Tawheed / God consciousness?
But Tawheed, did you say?
Yeah. My understanding is Tawheed means God veriness or God consciousness. Being conscious of.
Yeah, but that's why we cannot have any identity which distinguishes a group of people. So, for example, Chinese nationalities, American nationalities, they are limited. And you know who have American nationality? Those people who hold the American passport or whatever, But this is not the description we get from the Quran. That's why Quranic description is very universal. Whoever you are, wherever you live, whatever the nationality you have, doesn't matter as long as you don't ascribe any divinity to anything other than the creator of the universe, and you really turn away from anything other than him, from everything other than him, and surrender yourself unto him. What do you get from it? And I was excited about this verse. Doesn't give any specific title, but describes an attitude which is practiced at the society level. Do you get it? So I didn't really say this oneness, belief in oneness of God. That is your personal belief, yes. But here the importance is you have to have a social identity which has no material entity. Do you get it? So you don't say the Pakistani people or Egyptians. Those people who come from Bangladesh, for example, not like that. So anybody who has these qualities must make their own community. So questions, but ask your question, but if the answer is long, then we have to stop for Maghrib prayer. If the answer is short, we can, or the question or comment. Well, you don't have to ask questions.
Yeah, I mean, this makes me think, is it possible to surrender and not be Muslim?
Well, you are then you are using the word Muslim as a social identity, and the Quran doesn't give this identity. That is cultural. Do you get it? So you have to. Brother said, believe in God, right? And you yourselves surrender yourself to God alone. And of course, being abd means accept that you are created by him. It is also included in believing God, right? So have an identity not necessarily demographically describable, but characteristically describable. Do you understand what I mean? That is the Abrahamic tradition. Characteristically describable, You cannot say all people from Venezuela, for example. No, no, because I cannot be a citizen of Venezuela as long as I don't have these qualities necessary to be a Venezuelan. Any nationality, whatever, Egyptian nationality, like that. But if you have these characteristics, 3 characteristics are here. Never ascribe any divinity to anything but the creator of the universe. Surrender yourself unto him and turn away from everything except everything wrong, but turn to God. You are what the Quran says to be. You have to be what the Quran says you have to be. Do not collect yourself under a certain material. What is the other word? If there is another word, I cannot think of another word. It's sociological, political banner. Do you see what I mean?
Label.
Label. No, there is no label. That's the important message we get from the verse. So when we use the label, we have to question, what do we mean by this label? If this label categorizes people, for example, people from Middle Eastern countries are Muslims, for example. Subcontinent Asian, subcontinent people are Muslims in general. This categorization is false. Right? You cannot make it in a material limitations. Give it to material limitation to the identity of the if you like, followers of the Quran at a societal level. Personal level is definitely not. Even societal level, it must be universal, open to. Whoever does, for example, establishes Tawheed, oneness of God, whoever is Hanif, whoever surrenders himself to God is following the Abrahamic tradition. Okay, we have to pray. Sorry, do you have a question?
I do, but we can ask after.
Yeah, after the
Yeah.
prayer, inshallah.
No.
So, Mike? Yes. Right there. Ready? Okay. What is the importance of the point we were trying to make? Why shouldn't we have an label on etiquette for our, well, not etiquette, label? Why don't we say that we are Muslims? Why the Quran says, why don't you shouldn't define yourself with Christianity or Judaism, or as it is called now, Islam, right? It's a social identity. Why? What is the benefit of it? Or what is the benefit of having a universal identity? Or what is the harm in having a certain political identity? Political, not necessarily this political, civil identity. Let's say, I don't know, Muslims living in a certain community, for example. Those people say, we are Muslims. Why do you think we are trying to escape from using a certain language which makes us identify ourselves with certain religion or religious tradition, or they call it religious tradition, religious narration, etc.
It makes you prone to laziness because it becomes hereditary or becomes just your culture, and you don't have to work for it. You don't have to renew it yourself.
Yeah. Now, that's very important. So, you are you an American nationality? Yeah, remember, serious. Yeah, do you have an American passport?
I used to.
Okay. You can get it anytime. Right. Do you work for it? No. You are born American. Okay. Yeah. No. And you are entitled to be called an American. And you can get the American passport. And wherever you go, you can say, I'm an American. I can ask you, what have you done to become an American? Nothing. So you see the danger of hiding yourself from a certain tag, certain label. I was born Muslim. But the Quran says, are you Hanif? Are you Muslim? Are you aware that you are not, are you really conscious of that? You are not committing shirk? That is what you have to do. So don't hide yourself. As Eric said, don't be lazy by identifying yourself with saying that I'm a Christian. Or it is easy to speak on Christianity. But not Muslims. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I'm saved. It's very easy. I am an American nationality, so I am under the protection of American state, United States. My life is guaranteed there. Have I done anything for it? Nothing. just because I was born here. Can you imagine? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So try not to identify yourself with a civil title, but have the quality which makes you universal. What are these qualities? Have you really tried, searched the ways to avoid from committing shirk? It means assigning partners to God. Nothing should be given any divine power or divine quality except the one who owns everything. Have you worked on it? Have you really turned away from anything wrong? Are you aware that something is wrong? Some things are wrong. Have you made the distinction between right and wrong? And have you really distinguished the right and wrong and submitted yourself to the right? It means responsibility. So try to get universal title. Anybody who doesn't commit shirk, I'm using technical word, if anybody, technical means the Quranic word, doesn't commit shirk, turns away from what is wrong, and submits himself or herself to the right, this person is saved. Title? No title. Sorry. Yeah. So we think that, okay, I'll come with the one here at the second view. We think that identifying ourselves with a title, with a label, makes the case easy because you say, I belong to this community, I'm saved. You may belong to this community, but have you done your job? Have you used your human qualities? Have you really tried to get the right one for you in your personal life, in your societal life? That's why identity, if the identity is left open to the qualities only, if I ask you, I don't know why I always ask the Egyptians, so I ask this guy, are you a Muslim? I am from Pakistan. I was born into a Muslim family. I am a Muslim. Plus, Alhamdulillah, I am chosen. Quran blames on many occasions that those people who ascribe their understanding, their religious identity to their lineage, Bani Israel, under the name of Bani Israel, but everybody is Bani Israel, and say, I'm saved. What is it? The Quran blames, condemns these people, this attitude. The Quran never condemns a certain group of people who were migrated from Egypt into Palestine, etc., on this area. So, no, Quran speaks universally. That's why makes sure that ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا والنصراني ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان مسلما حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. What is the description? Not the titles, but qualities. I'm sorry, qualities, not the titles. You get it? That's why not capital M or uppercase M, because uppercase titles have been rejected. Now qualities are listed. It's beautiful. So the ladies first. Okay. So, do you
This
mind?
may be a silly question, but I want to answer it. Maybe a bit silly, but how do you know, is submission something that comes, is it your heart? Is it your mind? Is it, it's like when is, I have a very difficult time conceptualizing what submission is.
That's a good question, but it is a completely different subject. So what are we doing here? In order to follow Abrahamic tradition, that's our father, okay? So we learn the core content of religion from Abraham, not from Adam. But although Adam describes something, but we learn it through the scriptures in the example of Abraham a lot, and Moses follows. But that's why I say Abrahamic tradition is the core of our tradition. Our means, who are we? Human beings. Yeah. So universality of the qualities that we are going to learn from Abraham gives us the idea that we have to follow qualities, not titles, not labels. That is our subject. Your subject, it's a huge subject. How am I going to submit myself? Oh, it's a huge subject. But our subject is really important. First, let's say how Abraham subjected himself or submitted himself to God alone. Let's see his journey. Now,
okay, I'm not exactly sure how to frame this, but so the difference between like a Jew, a Christian, a Muslim versus these qualities, I think is pretty clear. But also the Quran calls towards lots of different beliefs, not just these, also like beliefs in the prophets, beliefs in angels, beliefs in the books. I guess, doesn't that kind of, I don't know, doesn't it like complicate it almost to an extent where it's natural that these boundaries form around it, I guess?
Not the last part I didn't get, because the boundaries, what are the boundaries? Look, not labels. For example, believe in God, believe in the hereafter. None of them is labels, quality. Yeah,
right.
Believe in the prophethood. For example, if someone asks you, who are you? You say, I'm a Muslim. Yeah. Because of this, whether you were born into Islam or you belong to a Muslim community or you come from a country nowadays is called Muslim. The people are Muslim, so it's a Muslim country. So these are qualities. You cannot identify yourself with anything. It's a civil title. So it makes you, exactly, it's beautiful, this, it makes you lazy saying that I am Muslim, it means I am already saved. So never use this term in order to run away from your responsibility. Present yourself to the person or to the society who you are in your traits or characters. It means I am the one who believes in God. I am the one who is sure that this world is transient after my death. Definitely, I will be resurrected. Definitely. So I believe in this universe as represented by the glorifications of God. Everything really glorifies God, and I submit my choice. If the submission is a lot, maybe sister is right to ask the question, submitting your free will to the will of the Creator. Yeah, that is practically speaking. Maybe Hanif means, which is natural, turn away from it. Somebody said here, I think it was that Justice is very important, but justice is another subject again. You can say that I am trying to be just. Just means do the things exactly they deserve to be done. Right? It means the things are out there. Everything is out there in order to glorify their creator to me. So do justice to the right of the creatures. Do you understand? Do you understand at all? Not the justice we understand from secular law or secular law discipline. Justice is in reality equal to worship of God alone, which is in Arabic, ubudiyya. Most of the scholars, sincere or serious scholars, equated the word justice with ubudiyya. For example, if you treat anything in the world not according to its duty, according to its function, is you are doing injustice to that creature. Its function is to glorify its creator. If you don't really, for example, I don't know, you may eat a banana today, yeah? If you really don't eat the banana as it is created for, just if you eat it to fill the stomach, what happens? You have done injustice to the banana. Because it hasn't been created to fill your stomach and then go to the bathroom on the next day. It has been created to remind you who your Lord is. So if you did that, if someone did this, he would be doing injustice to banana. That's why ubudiyya, sister was there, whether she's still there or not, being a servant of God, but this is a problematic translation. Worshipper of God is equal to being a just person in the world. Unfortunately, justice is nowadays secularized a lot. Yeah, acting according to the law of somebody who is done through the parliament or, I don't know, house of something. No, but as far as the creation of the universe is concerned, if you are just, you are good. So you understood the question that it doesn't really give you any political identity, title. Right. That's why I personally am very much sensitive about hiding myself behind a social or political banner. Saying, look, I am a Muslim, all right? I'm a Christian, okay? I am a Jew, okay? Something like that. But at the same time, present yourself with your qualities. It is not easy because if you want to present yourself with your qualities, it means you have to go through certain search and assume some characteristics, yeah, traits. And they say that this is my stand in the society. It's not easy. That's why I really like that. If you use a title, it makes you lazy. Mm-hmm.
I really understand the meaning that you gave us from this verse, and it makes sense. And
Sure.
But I'm looking at the verse, and I'm trying to understand how to understand Quran in general.
Yeah,
and
it's very good.
And
that's what we are doing.
Yeah,
here. Studying one verse and really trying to understand the methodology.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not trying to be negative, but it looks to me that we're bending the meaning, even though I believe in the meaning. But not from this verse. In front of me, I see a category that Ibrahim was not this category, was not that category, but was. And I would expect that, like from in any language, you say don't be this or this, be that, and it's the same category.
Yeah.
So it's religion, then another religion.
No, it's not another religion.
How did you know
That's
that? How did
amazing.
you know that?
But in our tradition, we think it is religion. It's not religion.
I know, I believe in that, but how did you know that it's not the uppercase?
Yeah, because it is not presented. For example, ما كان إبراهيم. Well, let me say that. ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا. It is the title of a certain group of people who identify themselves with. ولا نصرانيا. A certain group of people gave a title to themselves, right? ولكن كان look حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. Not certain group of people say that we are Hanif, we are Muslim, we are not mushrikun. So there is no social category that mentions. So I understand from this verse as a result of my search. Of course, I didn't wake up one morning and said, this verse is this, of course. But universalizing the quality of a believer and quality of a person who wants to worship God alone and preventing us not to hide behind categories, titles, labels. So even he said only Muslim. Yeah. So it is a title. We should still understand that this means not a banner, not a label, but a certain attitude. So I have to identify myself with the attitude rather than with the banner. For example, what happened in Jewish tradition, or those people who follow Jewish tradition, is people. They identified myself with Judaism and said that we are saved. So what happened, even they don't believe in Torah. Torah is Pentateuch. Let's make it in this way. They don't believe in it. Still they say they are Jews. You see the danger? So don't hide yourself behind titles. That's the summary.
How I see it is Jew and Christian are both nouns, but Muslim is like a verb, right? Because like Islam is an action. The action is a verb. So you can't treat a verb as a noun. You know, it doesn't seem to follow. Like, am I making sense?
Yeah. Because Nasrani, for example, Nasraniyan is a title, only a title. Doesn't give you any quality which as a person you will say, for example, in the example of I am an American. Well, in order to become an American, you don't have to have a certain degree, certain work, etc. But so naturalized people's case is practically different. But when they are born here, that's it. So the same thing happens to the certain group of people who may call themselves Christian or Nasara or Muslim. The same thing happens. I was born into a Muslim community. I am a Muslim. Finish. It means nothing. Somebody wanted, yeah.
Oh, no, I wanted to say that for me, just the addition of Hanifan solves the problem. Because if it was like Mekana ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان مسلما, that would, I would read that differently from ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما. So there's a stress on حنيفا Muslim and
وما كان من المشركين.
Exactly, and
carries on.
حنيفا مسلما, I mean, even in the Arabic language, I mean, I'm guessing the Arab is hal, right? Hanifan is like a state. Like Risala was saying, like it's a state.
It requires action.
Exactly. So it's not a noun. It's not a title. It's a state.
Yeah. So you can say I am an American, but it doesn't mean, it doesn't require. But if you say I'm an engineer, yeah, I am a football player, soccer player, yeah, it is different from saying I am an Arab, for example. Completely different. One of them is title, the other one is quality. Yeah. Somebody wanted? Yeah.
So the distinction we're trying to make is one of choice, right? Like one of willfully partaking in something that may or may not turn. We're saying there shouldn't be a social label to it, right? But let me take an analogy. I have a friend, he stopped eating meat and he now calls himself a vegetarian. And I have another friend, he was born a vegetarian because he was born in an Indian family and his parents never ate meat and he never ate meat. And so he doesn't eat meat. But they're both vegetarian.
Practically.
Practically. For different reasons, right? But we don't distinguish between them. We don't say one is less of a vegetarian than the other. Their bodies are not experiencing any difference because of that vegetarianism. So I like her, I fundamentally, I get that, you know, being called a Muslim can make us lazy, but I think that we can harp against that laziness without having to, or I guess I'm wondering is why do we have to deprioritize the label so much, and why can't we just focus on saying just because you're Muslim doesn't mean you should be lazy, right? Like why do you have to say that having that label is a bad thing? Why aren't we just saying, you know, have that label, but don't be lazy about that label?
No, we cannot say this because we know from the practical life that if you take a label for yourself for granted, you may not be lazy, but still having the title for yourself, it doesn't do any good for you. It's, for example, somebody is born into an Indian family and doesn't eat meat, etc. And he is practically vegetarian, but he is not vegetarian because he is not consciously vegetarian at all. So we cannot call him vegetarian. He comes from an Indian family, that's it. Practically, we see from outside that, no, he is a vegetarian, but he is not a vegetarian. For example, if someone says, I am a Muslim, yeah, but never surrenders his feelings to the creator, real owner, it doesn't mean anything. If someone really surrenders his human qualities consciously as a human being to his creator, he is a Muslim.
But I can see that distinction being important in certain contexts. But in certain contexts, it's important to have that label, right? So yes, that person is.
Explain me. In certain contexts, it's important to have a label. Explain this one in parentheses.
Right. So my question is, when is it important to have this, to focus on not just being a label, but being actually that, right? In my day-to-day, like the fact that I am a Muslim affects me more, capital M Muslim, affects me, right? The only time being a small M.
You really?
Yeah, it does.
Really? Huh.
That's what all of the other God's other creation sees me as, right? And that's how.
But that is there in their eyes. In reality, in your reality. Huh.
In my personal relationship with God, yes, it doesn't affect me, right? But
You got the answer.
but in my everyday, like everything I do, how I'm received, how I'm responded to, when I'm entering this building, someone stops me because of who I am, right? Like it's everything. Everything else I do, it's not super significant, but it's also not insignificant.
It is my experience in my own life. It is not only insignificant, it is harmful. Think about it. The other people, I may have a longer beard, or maybe some sort of a special clothes that everybody will say, oh, he is either Sikh or Muslim. Yeah. So they confuse sometimes. They either put something harmful bomb or something in a Sikh temple, thinking that it's a Muslim institution. They are ignorant people, so it doesn't matter. They will say either this person is a Sikh or a Muslim. Which kind of value I should get out of it? Nothing. It doesn't change my reality at all. But it definitely, in practical life, harms me saying that, look, I'm a Muslim. I say it now. I have to convey the message to this guy because he's not a Muslim. Convert him. But doesn't really benefit anything to my human quality or to the purpose of my existence. Doesn't add anything to me. That's why if someone asks you, are you a Christian, are you a Muslim? Just for the sake of social relationships, I am a Muslim. If you want to go to Saudi Arabia, you have to have the paper that I am a Muslim. So otherwise, they will not let you get into Mecca. This is good for this practical purposes. That's nothing more than this. So really, this universality of the message of the Abrahamic tradition is extremely important. And for example, the Abraham was born into what Muslim family? Abraham was born into a Azar family. Azar is the pioneer of the enemy of Abraham. Moses was grown up in a Pharaoh family, right? Nothing to do with lineage, nothing to do with label. It was their choice. These are the examples the most frequently referred to in the Quran. Yeah.
Just in relation to this verse, I agree with Riz and Ihab when they talk about sort of the construction here. But if I do recall correctly, and I agree with this. I agree with everything that you're saying, by the way. But just also for my own personal piece, also in this particular surah, I believe there's another verse where it says and no, inna din Allah al-Islam, I think. Yeah. How do I interpret that? I mean, it definitely seems like that's, al-Islam, a noun, as if God is referring to a religion with a name, with a political identity.
Yeah.
How do I reconcile that in this verse?
That is what you hear from the interpreters who love to give an identity to their subjects. So this is a problem of interpretation. Say that in the deen, what is deen? What do you understand from deen? You have the way. Yeah, the way, or your indebtedness, really. In Allah and Islam, the submission. What it means, how much you submit, that is your function in this world. Exactly. That's what God accepts it. Otherwise, if you use the title only, by the way, the word Islam, according to some scholars not, is legitimately used as a title for a community after 3 centuries after the death of the Prophet. So not describing the religion. For example, what do you understand from Christianity? Was Jesus a Christian? No. Yeah. Was Moses a Jew? No. Yes. Was Muhammad a Muslim as we understand capital? No. He was an ordinary man. He was still searching, questioning, asking, and looking for the truth. And when he received the message, he was terrified himself. What's going on? Am I really obsessed by, they call it jinn, Majnun? He was suspicious of himself. But what made him, as we call it now, with a minuscule, lowercase Muslim, as he received the message and he really confirmed the message, submitted, surrendered himself to the message and practiced it. That made that attitude, that characteristics, made him a submitter, a believer, a submitter who surrenders. So be with the group of people who surrender themselves with God. Never use the title. Of course, it is hard to swallow because we don't hear like that. I can tell you. I can challenge you. Have you ever heard this way? Yeah. That's okay. Did it hurt? Did it hear? Did it say yes? I heard. So I hope it wasn't boring, but this is a new perspective. Looks like revolutionary somehow in our minds and how we should identify ourselves. Go and ask yourself now in your own private room, when you go to your room, am I surrendering myself? Am I turning away from anything wrong? Am I being very careful not to ascribe any divine power to anything other than the one who owns this universe? Am I doing this? You cannot escape from your reality. But if you are not aware of this and say that I'm a Muslim, you say, am I a Muslim? Of course I am. And then God said, snore. Yeah, I am saved. What is the difference between my saying that I am Muslim and sleeping comfortably without questioning your reality, and the Qur'an's blaming, complaining, you're criticizing the attitude of the children of Israel, saying that we are chosen people of God and saved. What is the difference? As a Muslim, political identity, civil identity, political doesn't mean this political Democrats or I don't know, Republicans. No. Civil identity, if you call yourself as a Muslim with the title of civil identity Muslim, you never question yourself. You only question at the what? Am I praying regularly or not? At the level of outward rituals. only. So in order to go to the root, to the real core of the matter, you should leave your political identity, civil identity, and question yourself quality-wise. How much did you remember today to turn away from false gods? How much did you really surrender yourself to the truth? How much were you aware today that you did not ascribe any divine authority to anything? Even we eat every day. It is a kind of ritual. Yeah. Every day you are hungry. It means you are needy. And you are invited to the banquet provided by someone to eat, to benefit, in order to practice your need, your neediness, your dependence. Well, how many times we all together, remember when we sit in front of a food that is the practice of my neediness, dependence. I am dependent. Am I dependent on what? So all these practical side of the beautiful aspect of practice of one's belief is missed when you hide yourself from behind a title. You don't question yourself. You question yourself, did I pray 5 times a day? I'm not a good Muslim. I missed today 1 or 2. If you did, you do. So, but when you are eating, it was another kind of opportunity for you to practice your ubudiyah, your being a worshiper of the Creator. It's a perfect means of practicing. You are invited to the practical side of your reality, that you are really dependent on somebody else who has to provides you all what you need, right? So this is a beautiful way of practicing your worshipful attitude, being a worshiper of God, practicing that you are dependent on somebody else. And you have to question, who is it? Am I dependent on American farmers? Am I dependent on American land, which produced mostly corns and soybeans? So am I dependent on I don't know, Californian farmers to sell me oranges and other fruits or vegetables? Yeah. Or am I dependent on the one who provided this beautiful thing for me, the Creator? Have you ever questioned yourself? If you didn't, it means you were using the banner, the title of being a Muslim, and assuming or claiming that you are saved, like the Bani Israel did. And it is blamed in the Quran. We have to be very careful. We have to evacuate the room as soon as possible before 9. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Akhiru da'wahum and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin bi hurmati surati al-Fatiha.